Why teenage pregnancies?
Yes.
Good question. I am the second born in a family of 6. We are 5 girls and 1 boy. When we were growing up, my brother is actually the second last born, so we grew up as girls. And when we were in high school, my sister became a teenage mom. She got pregnant when she was a teenager. That time I was very young, not very young, but young. But the things that happened following that occurrence was something that really, I can say it really stirred the desire in me to do something. You see, the way something happens and it leaves you thinking, is there something that can be done? But then I was still young, as I said. I was still in school, and there was very little I could do. So it triggered the desire in me, but I could not do anything until later on. As I said, in 2017 is when I began. But when my sister got pregnant, to take you back, I think the worst affected person, you see, when we were kids, we didn't know so much about someone getting pregnant. And as I said earlier, our parents were not those who could sit us down and say, you see, you're now a girl, you're 16 years, you can get pregnant if you play around with boys. So it was something that it did not really mean a lot to the children, but my mom was the worst affected because now I am a mother to a girl and I can only try to put myself in her shoes. Seeing your baby, because as a girl who is under 18 is clearly a baby, and then this baby is carrying a baby in them, is something that really,
it's tough.
It is tough. Yeah. So my mom was really shaken. I remember I had never seen my mother crying, but that particular day when she was breaking the news to us, like your sister is pregnant, I saw tears in her eyes for the very first time. And that is the time now it took me back, and I was like, what is this? As in, why has this thing really shaken and broken my mom? Mm-hmm. So I got interested with this issue of like, kumbe, a young girl getting pregnant is actually a big deal to the mom. And not only the mom, but I remember my family was shaken in a way. You see, my dad is a pastor. So you can imagine, you're a pastor, then your young girl is pregnant, and you know, then you have other girls, you have the fear of what will happen to these other ones. So what I promised myself then was I was not going to put my mother through what she went through during that period. So I promised myself I was not going to get pregnant as a teenager. That was number 1. Number 2, now I was wondering what happens if my other sisters, I told you we are 5 girls, what happens if the other ones became pregnant as teenagers? So I was just worried, and I was like, I don't want my mom to go through what she has gone through. And I said, first I will take the initiative to talk to them, because that time they were younger. So they did not even realize my sister left home. She got a baby. I was the one who was closest to her because I was I was around 16 years. So I understood what was going on somehow. So I decided I would speak to them and tell them, please let us try to protect our family and our mom. Let's not break her heart the second time. And then again, challenge them to complete their education, because that was the end of my sister's education. Yeah, and then as I continued, as I grew now with this thing with a burden in my heart, I realized in our neighborhood there were many others who were still getting children as teenagers. That is now what pushed me to not just speak to my sisters, but also to speak to the others in the neighborhood. When I went to college, I studied in the University of Nairobi. I was interacting with my friends, and I realized actually it is not just in my village or my hood that teenage pregnancies was a problem. It was a countrywide issue. So that is now where the idea of, I think I may not be able to reach each and every teenager as a person, like one-on-one. How about I write a book with the experiences of a teenage girl, so that, you see, when I sell a book, it can be read by so many. And then also, if I start a foundation and I get a team, we'll be able to cover a wider area within a shorter period. That is how I started.
I'm joining that team.
You're